don't understand what's going on here.
Onto your seats, kiddies. It's time for the game where everyone competes for a shot at street stardom, Bingo! And yours truly, DJ Professor K, will bring you the lowdown on this event. 2 teams of Rudies are about to race through the streets of Tokyo-to to complete their bingo board objectives. For every soul and character they unlock, they'll receive a point. If a team manages to cover an area in graffiti, they'll get a whopping 3 points. But they better watch their backs, because it's first come, first serve around these parts. Only one team can claim each square, and we don't hand out no consolation prizes for second place losers. Ha 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 ha! If a team can work together and mark 5 squares in a row, column, or a diagonal, they'll secure a bingo and be rewarded with a 2-point bonus. Ooh! Oh, and one final thing. Don't forget, this game is all about working together with your teammate. So any tape pickups, stolen locks, and graffiti completions will be synced between team members. Don't try to solo it alone, you jackass. All right, let's hit this joint. It's time for another round of Jet Set Radio Bingo!
Hello everyone, and welcome to the first match of the semi-finals, where we will find out who will be going to the grand finals and who will be going home. For our first team today, we have the team that, according to Urban Dictionary, which admittedly isn't the best source, is prepared to bring the win home and bring the hype. We have Ryomi and Yayo from Team Hypebeasts. And going up against them today is a duo from the far-off lands of New Amsterdam, ready to zip all over the competition and snipe some squares. We have Nago and Shovelclaws from the Unwantables. And in the commentator's box today we have the duo that thought an Uber was a car for sheep that can't afford a Lamborghini. It's Eclapricious and Acebats.
I don't understand what's going on here.
Welcome back to Bingo! We are so back for the Season 6 semi-finals.
We are so back. Like, we were gone and now we're back. It's like we never left.
Yeah. Sure. Anyway, yeah, semi-finals. Team Hypebeasts versus the Unwantables. And, yeah, we've had a brief break from Bingo. I can't remember really how JSRF Bingo works at all, actually. It's been so long. So we're starting completely from scratch.
It's been so long, we don't even know what colour each team is.
But yeah, important to note that today we are starting off our best of 5s for the playoffs. Slight alteration for this season. We'll be playing best of 5s in the semi-finals as well as the finals. And that's why you take us through the first board of the game while we get ready to start.
Yeah. So, I mean, I immediately just look at the Ben 10 and the Kogane. The Shibuya Cho is kind of really lacking here, which is kind of wild, honestly. Like, you know, we've got a bunch of stuff in Shura and Hikage, nothing in Dogen, and 1 in Shibuya. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Something about Hypebeasts makes me feel like they're going to go Shiro anyway, or, you know, Shibuya Cho anyway. They're psychopaths. But maybe they won't. I feel like we're going to see 1 in Kogane, 1 in Ben 10, and then Shibuya is going to be the kind of deciding area in the end, but that's my prediction early on. Yeah. And, I mean, I'm just trying to look for like bingos and whatnot, but with everything being like, you know, Shibuya Cho, you know, nothing being like in Shibuya Cho, things being in Ben 10 and Kogane, there's nothing really that jumps out at me. There's the column 1, but it's such a eclectic bingo that I don't know. I feel like we're just going to see a bunch of squares be marked, and whoever gets the most squares wins, which, you know, I guess is how bingo gets played sometimes.
Yeah, it's a single graffiti board. It's highway zeros. It's pretty quick. Benta doesn't look bad. I mean, it's a pretty good highway zero overall. It's one of my favorite things, shockingly, really. Ekla loves highway zero stuff, but yeah. It's one of my favorite things to see is when there's highway zero graffiti, but then also other objectives in that area, because there's that mind game that goes on who's going for graffiti and who's going for
also, we've given the players plenty of time to check the board. I think we should let them loose across the world of Tokyo-to, as it were.
Yes, we're going to get started working on some slight tech things. But yeah, let's get started with the game.
Right, so Ryomi going to Bentensho, Shovel going to Bentensho, and Yayo and Nago going into Goganecho. So, kind of what you would expect in this scenario. And I mean, it's always hard to tell. I feel like it could be down to stream delay. Ryomi does look like he has an advantage over Shovel Claws. So it's going to be interesting to see what it does. Yayo and Nago more or less head to head. It really just comes down to stream delay and I guess where the bingo servers are hosted. We've got our first square to Yayo with Crocodile Heights grind 10. Nago just continuing on though, not losing those precious seconds.
Yeah, all right, let me get my head in the game here. Just had to prepare a quick graphics fix. It's not a problem. It's no problem at all. Nago Suarap is currently in RDH, working on
going away from sewers.
Yeah, actually leaving the area. Yayo goes deeper in, and Ryomi is in Highway 0 alongside Shovel, so this is going to be the fight we have to watch right now. Ryomi starts up the graffiti slightly ahead, and Shovel's not spraying, so we may just see a trade here of souls for graffiti. Now, there are 4 souls, I believe, in Highway 0. No, 3. So it will be a 3-point for 3-point trade if Ryomi doesn't get this grind, which he's actually out ahead to. And if he can take this away from Shovel, he will have progress on the graffiti. So yeah, locked in for Ryomi. That's a really cheeky little play there because that means he's going to come out ahead no matter what situation here. Shovel getting sniped there. I wonder what the play is for Shovel. Ooh, bad management as well. This is really rough for Shovel. Ryomi's going to clean house here because he has tape. He started the graffiti, but now he's working on the souls. He might be
Ryomi's ignoring graffiti on the way, though, which is interesting. Unfortunately, if Shovel Claws just had a bit better management, this wouldn't be so dicey. One thing I do want to highlight while they fight it out, I like what Nago did here. Kind of going, okay, Yayo's in Crocodile Heights, seems a bit dire. I can just clean house in Shibuya because you know who probably would have marked something already? Ryomi. So I think that was a good play because, you know, overall there's a few more squares in Kogane, but I think you can really quickly, you know, mop up quite a bit of Churro Street here.
Yeah, it's a good place to be, I think, just to chill out uncontested in an area that has 4 points. And special is not particularly likely. I imagine that will probably go untouched, especially with Yayo right now in FRZ and in the sewers area. The only thing that special really contributes to is the row 2 and the column 3. So Unwantables marking their first square with Chuo. Nago doesn't really need to commit. He's going to be able to pick up right canal and grind, then get south of Hayashi leave. Quick, easy 3 points to put Unwantables back in the game. Checking in on the Highway 0 affairs, Ryomi does manage to get out ahead with all 3 souls picked up, and Shovel doesn't commit to the graffiti, actually leaves to try and get something else. At this point, those 3 points, I think you just need them, right?
Yeah, I think it's right now it's less so much the 3 points and that bingo right there that's got Shovel all worked up. But it's going to be interesting because it's really 50-50. Especially if Shovel doesn't start with Dark All Ride. Dark All Ride, that's a throwback. So I'm wondering where Ryomi's gonna go. Because Ryomi could just go back to Highway 0 and work on that graffiti again.
That would be a really aggressive play, and from what Ryomi's done here, he set up the column 1 as a threat. So forcing Shovel then to respond to that. Nice little jump though from Shovel to get to the 99th point. Pick that up. I like that jump. Yeah, I mean, Shovel's had to respond to this, which means that Ryomi can just go back into Highway 0 and cash in. It's a really smart strategic play, using Team Hypebeasts' momentum to their advantage to bank a bunch of points.
Ryomi's being cheeky here. Can you see it? Floating pink half pipes? With an uncontested Kogane.
That would be pretty devastating if they could also work on that. Yeah, it just feels like Unwantables are playing catch-up. Unfortunately, because Nago is uncontested in Shibuya-cho, it means that they are catching up on points, but don't have a lot of ball control to work with. Bingos that they're working on revolve around a lot of Kogane right now, the row 3, the column 3, and they've yet to really have any presence in Kogane. Yayo has been being the sewer rat this game. You know, in a game between Yayo and Nago, it's been Yayo who has been able to just hang around in sewers and clean house. And in terms of ball control, Hypebeasts definitely favored right now. So yeah, Ryomi does go back into Highway 0 here. Interesting. I mean, his work is done in setting up the bingo threats, right? He can just cash in these points with the final square in Bentoncho, and Shovel's going to get baited in here as well. Just constantly playing catch-up against Ryomi this game. And honestly, it's done a decent amount that is, you know, available to it in these situations, but the more important priority squares have definitely been going in Ryomi's favor so far.
Yeah, I mean, Ryomi right back into Highway 0 is kind of a cheeky graffiti. I mean, Shovel is here, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, I think bottom point
to get
quite obvious. You know, Evo F4, Nago does get in with an advantage to block that potential bingo. Potentially being able to set an counter bingo.
Really leaving? Okay. Well, not sure what the logic is here for Ryomi. Maybe he just feels like he needs to be somewhere else on the map right now. But, you know, whether this was planned or not, Shovel is going to be locked here in Highway 0. It'll get the points, but it's not a strategically very strong square, and it doesn't do anything, of course, to stop that building top left to bottom right bingo. And Hypebeasts might just win this on points alone if they can lock in that bingo. They don't need the graffiti to do so.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Yayo and Ryomi just like, double up in Kogane. That's where all the points are. Even with the 3 points from Highway 0, if someone's all the way out there, they're not going to be much of a threat anywhere else on the map. I mean, Yayo going into fortified residential zone, kind of just going for the bingo block really above anything else. Unless Ryomi's going to Hikage, maybe they're going for a different bingo entirely. I mean, the thing with Hypebeasts right now is they have solid board control. It looks like that might be what we're about to see. Kind of reading that Kibo, Nago's probably going to go there. But what Nago probably won't do is go to FRZ, and that FRZ Hikage, solid bingo.
Yeah, I mean, what Hypebeasts have done this game, right from the early game, is they've set themselves up for success with a lot of different options, and they're just picking what's best and what's like most readily available for them. Right now, they still have those 2 bingo threats, and even, bingo threats notwithstanding, they had very, very strong board control from the get-go, and that's what you want to work with.
But I think the other thing is this Hikage is a double whammy. You get special, you get crane. Nago and Shovel Claws nowhere near 14 points to win. It's going to be 15 points to win, assuming this bingo gets grabbed. They're going to be in a pretty solid position. So the question is, which souls they're going to try and finish up with?
Well, they have plenty of options available. For me, I really like this style of bingo, and it's actually something I think that Ace does really well, is just setting up a lot of different threats and then picking the best one for the situation, right? You don't even need the bingos to win the game because of your board control and because of your awareness of where your opponents are on the map. You can just lock in the points you need to win, even without the bingos.
Bit of a tragic fall there from Nago, but we're about to see Ryomi grab bingo with that special, and I mean, Shibuya 100k is it. That's the win condition. Shovel
is into Shibuya first.
We might be able to see a snipe.
You know what's really crazy about this is no one else is in Kogane. Technically, Nago could just clear out this area, and Unwantables could still win this game.
Yeah, the only thing that I am a bit iffy on about that is out of all the squares, Nago is going for cube, which logically is sound, right? Like, and
locked in by Shovel.
100 KS goes to Unwantables.
And now Yayo and Ryomi have to scramble over to Kogane. It's going to be close. Nago's already here in bottom point. Going for cube of all things, I feel like that's not like the best square you could be going for in this situation, but you need everything to win, so you have to get everything.
No, actually, no. I think cube is actually a very good square. If Shovel can get one square,
the bingo
and the counter bingo from Kibo Airport, they've got tape.
Now the question is, the Hypebeasts read this, right? I mean, it's a relatively obvious play, but they just need one square. Are they going to be like, yeah, let's go to Kibo Cube, right? Like, those are not the squares they want. And that does create a problem for Nago and Shovel in that technically Hypebeasts could win with one more square unless Shovel and Nago get the bingo.
Shovel
I don't know. I
lost the jump. No, Shovel's fell. Okay, they need to. Shovel needs to move out of here. Needs to go anywhere else. We got Yayo.
Ryomi's ahead, yeah, for Sauna. Not over yet. If this bingo still gets locked in, this means Shovel needs to get into Kibo, but now Yayo's ahead to Kibo, and I really, because
I think Yayo
of
has
course,
to do an entire lap, so. Like, that is the Shovel misses the jump to Sauna, which I guess is fair enough.
I mean, the square was already locked in.
It's marked, yeah. And they call it, is it calling it here? Just checking the chat, making sure. Trying to figure out what's what. I mean, it's a case of get all the squares right.
This is one of those rare situations where the bingos changing the points to win can get a little confusing in the moment. Especially when there's still a bingo threat on the board. Nice stall launch from Yayo.
It's one of those, game is cool, but it's still all to play for. The classic. But unfortunately, Shovel is spread a bit too thin right now. Ryomi with the climb.
Yeah. There's cube locked in. Unfortunately, it looks like this bingo is off the cards.
Did Ryomi just fall? Oh, co-oping Air 4.
Oh, they're going into Kibo, for the co-op on Air 4 to block the bingo, which that's what Hypebeasts have to do to win this game. Right?
Yeah.
Like, they have to block this bingo. Because if they don't block the bingo, they, even with Suez Air 4, I don't think they win, right? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
My brain is scrambled right now from all of this, like, on-the-fly maths. But
it's just,
what's really interesting about this game is, we're watching all four screens at the same time and trying to just say what we see. I want to go back already. I want to go back and watch this game to see how we got to this situation, because it looked
That's in with a bingo.
But there it is. Hypebeasts do lock it in with the second bingo to clutch game one, but it went down to the wire. It looked like a convincing win for Hypebeasts off the early advantage. But when it came to finding that winning play, that clutch play, Unwantables really fought hard for it. GG, game one to the Hypebeasts. Alright, let's see if they're ready for game two.
Right. Keep an eye out when you generate the board. Just make sure that if you get Center of Dark on there, just rename it if you can.
Okay, we'll do. I'm not sure what the situation was with that, but I thought
I was monitoring it because I think the classic, the reason we renamed it happened. But
I guess I like
to monitor games and see how it happens.
Unfortunate. Okay. Well, new board, game two. Let's have a peep. Oh, that row 5 is insane. What have I created?
Hell? Eckler? Are you allowed to do this to them?
Listen, I have no defense.
No?
I didn't see this until I put the board
You
in.
do what the board decrees. Daft board. Right,
Well, this is going to
so
be interesting.
There's obvious bingos, there's less obvious bingos. I just I cannot say for sure what the players will do. It's as even as you could get, really, except maybe, put an extra one in Kogane, one out of Ben 10. Like, this is solid, right? Right, the players are revealed. 1 minute on the clock. I'll remember to keep an eye on it this time. So, some funny Dogen, some funny Shibuya, some funny Kogane.
Oh, I love this board.
And some funny Ben 10. Like, I don't know where to start on this. This is kind of your domain.
The 5 Benton row 5 certainly is, it's eye-catching, right? It's 3 in Dino, but then it's Highway Zero Tricks and 99th Grind. Double Benton would be crazy. But that does mean you leave the rest of the board open. And there's some other decent stuff on there. Center Square, Dogen Statue. You've got Shibuya, Air 3 points, 100k, Grind 10. There's a lot of points you can get everywhere else on the board as well. So I want to see who takes the Benton bait, which is certainly a very good play if you can lock it in, and who doesn't, who tries to go elsewhere, or whether we see them contesting each other in these areas.
Yeah, I mean, double Ben 10 is insanely aggressive and only really worth it if you can secure that bingo. But, I mean, I'm hoping we see a player in each of the 3 areas.
Ryomi into Shibuya, shocking. Nago actually will match that, and it's going to be Yayo going into Benton Show. And Shovel as well, by the looks of things, so
Yep.
split board.
I'm imagining we've got a bit more stream delay on Shovel than the other players, which is going to be interesting.
Really close race between Ryomi and Nago right now.
Oh god, yeah. Looks like...
What's the priorities here? Points into Grind? Ooh, it's so synced. Points into Grind is the play.
Air.
Nago's going for it. Ryomi goes for Air. This trade has to go for Nago, right? Points into Grind?
Depends. If Ryomi goes into Grind, then...
Ryomi could still get Grind ahead, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
Has
I
the
think
boost.
it's just a bit quicker. Nago
Just
getting
slightly.
hit. Nago gonna decide where to go from here, I guess.
Okay.
Yep, Nago realizing, so now pivoting. Looks like Dogen Zucker Hill will be Ryomi's
Yayo and
next
Shovel.
place.
Both into Dino, by the looks of things here. Shovel looks to be slightly ahead.
Which is, yeah, okay. I didn't catch if Shovel's stream got reset there, but if Shovel's ahead
I think it did,
with
yeah.
potential okay, great, don't even have to worry about the desync now. So yeah, looks like Shovel is doing quite well here. Ryomi with the advantage to pass statue. It's kind of unfortunate for Nago here because, it was one of those
Yeah,
where,
getting sniped.
Ryomi went for that marginally faster square, square combo compared to
Yayo
Nago.
moving today.
Oh god, yeah. Shovel is running around this good old level. So what was there? There was platform is starting spiral, Sky Dino, and points. Is it worthwhile? I mean, I guess it is worthwhile. I mean, it's on that scary bingo line, right? But
Nago and
guess-
Ryomi still synced up here. Looks like Nago's slightly ahead into Kogane Cho now. What have we got on the board here? RDH Sauna, Tricks 35, and the Graffiti. There's 3 Graffiti boards, so we might see it get started up a little earlier. We know Hypebeasts love their Graffiti. But there are still some quick squares to pick up on the board, and once again, it's a Ryomi and Nago just head-to-head, but it is looking like a little bit of progress on the Graffiti for Nago.
Yep. So
Back into Dino.
Dino
Shovel
Air 6.
gets the Air 6. Yayo having some trouble by the looks of things.
Shovel
Taking
is
a couple extra falls.
I have no idea what's going on in Sky Dino. This is just my god.
Yeah, I think we just need like 4 commentators and just have each commentate a different feed, right?
Yeah.
There's so much going on in this game.
We'll just keep track of
Oh,
what the hell is
Ryomi's gonna
happening in
snipe
Sky
Nago
Dino.
again. No.
Shovel! What's going on here?
This is
Nago working on
absolute cinema.
But yeah, Sauna getting
yeah.
knocked, kind of rough.
Nago gets sniped again after being in the area ahead. And at this point, I think Nago needs to just try and find somewhere else to be, lest they continue to get sniped by Ryomi. But into sewers, the both of them go.
Yeah, I mean,
now, Dino cleared out
Shovel
2-1 in favor of Hypebeasts.
yeah, I mean, Shovel is kind of in a similar position, just has to get somewhere else. That was a very tragic Sky Dino. Oh, to be a fly on the wall in their VC right now. Right. Oh.
Once again,
Yeah.
Nago just slightly behind Ryomi,
Ooh.
who clears out that soul in sewers. Just one of those games, isn't it?
Ryomi missing
really crazy thing.
Oh, gives Nago some time.
But Nago's leaving.
Run it back.
Yeah. Is Ryomi going to stay in Kogane here? There's not a massive amount of work to be done here, I feel. You know, there's a lot of quite committal stuff.
Yeah, in terms of like points, it's all kind of all over the board, right? Oh my god, Shovel and Yayo next to one another. Looks like Shovel has... No, Yayo gets trash. This is heartbreaking, honestly. And
Yayo gets the outbound. Let's go!
Yeah, there you go. Ekla's having a grand old time right now.
That's
Shovel
my goat.
leaving, and this is exactly what we need to see right now, is going anywhere else. In terms of potential bingos, I mean, the big problem right now is that the board control for Hypebeasts is so strong, so many potential bingos, and there is just nothing right now for the Unwantables. So they just have to win on pure points, which, given the current situation, as a team, they've really got to rely on Yayo and Ryomi getting really aggressive and, dare I say, cocky. Because, yeah, they could try and threaten some bingos, try and muck about. You really just have to call any bluffs, and it's... I mean, I like to say it's not over till it's over. I think it's going to be a bit of a tricky
on this
one to pull
board.
back.
This is still a 3 graffiti board. There are many things that can still be done, many ways that this board can still change. And it looks like actually Yayo, according to chat, according to Urban Dictionary, Yayo got tape in Highway 0. So a little bit of time wasted there, meaning that Trix stays on the board after all that time committed. And that's... If this board goes down to 1 square and it's Highway 0 Trix because nobody wants to go all the way back out there again, that's going to be rough for Hypebeasts. And Nago has done what I feel was needed for Unwantables, which is opt out of the race with Ryomi across the map and work on this graffiti in RDH. Ryomi's still running around picking up souls. Surprising, really, to see Hypebeasts, who love graffiti as much as they do, not focusing on it quite as much in this game and just trying to get the board control, work on early points. A little bit of a pivot in their style, perhaps, but development over the course of the season.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, what are we looking at in terms of blocks? We need someone in 99th Street. We don't have anyone in 99th Street. This could be a problem, unless Yayo forgets the tape in SDPB. That is a very clear bingo up, and this is the kind of, I mean, this is the big challenge for so much board control for one team, right? You don't know what they're going to go for. You've just got to go and try and block whatever.
All Trix unlock. Gets it.
Nice. But a Shovel mark.
Very nice
that,
on Shovel.
I would say Hypebeasts have a very clear scenario on their hands where Grind 15, which Ryomi is basically
that's just going to get locked in. Yeah.
Locked in.
Bingo isn't the end of the world.
Strong. It
in
isn't.
fact, it's crazy to think, right? But this bingo does increase the points to win. And there's still 3 graffitis on the board. So yeah, I don't think this bingo is the be-all, end-all of the game. Hypebeasts don't have any other bingo threats other than a potential row 2, which is unlikely. Not impossible, but unlikely. So the game very much does come down to graffiti now. And unfortunately, Nago does pivot towards trying to block that bingo at the last moment there and wastes a little time for that. RDH graffiti wasn't locked in, so that's still on the board. Unwantables have progress on that, but now it is going to be a rush to perhaps Hikage here. It has to be Hikage, right? Yeah. So graffiti and tricks on the board. Looks like they're going to co-op it.
So I'm trying to think what I'm looking at here, right? Because we've got Yayo and Ryomi in 99th Street doing their co-op graffiti. We've got Shovel and Nago doing their co-op graffiti for Hikage. So we're going to see 16 points out of 17 to win. Highway Zero Trick 17 might just be an actual choice that gets made again. Because ultimately it's one graffiti, one square, right?
That's true, yeah.
And it's one of those
yeah,
where,
I don't know, maybe you wanted to see
shifts the
graffiti. Maybe I wanted to see graffiti a little earlier this game, but it's just so difficult for Unwantables when you lose out one entire half of the board, right? Because the start of the game was Nago getting sniped 5 or 6 times. You know, that's very difficult to come back from. And yeah, I don't know. The decision making is difficult, right? Like, you don't always want to just take the defensive option and say, well, I'm sick of getting sniped, I'm going to do something completely different. And it's also hard to predict where your opponent's going to go because, you know, you don't have perfect information on their thought process. So there is that kind of that fallacy of, well, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Hopefully my opponent makes a different decision and I don't get sniped. And that just, unfortunately, that coin flip landed the wrong side for Nago multiple times.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure.
It's a difficult one, and there's no right answer, right? You either go, okay, I'll just keep being aggressive. Some time was spent just, you know, grabbing the soul, doing everything else. I'll just continue on and, you know, get the edge. But unfortunately, that just wasn't the case. But I mean, it's one of those, you don't know exactly where your opponent is at any given time, right? So it's really difficult to, like, mentally process exactly where the gaps lie between you and your opponent. So I just don't know. I would not know what to do in that situation. I think, you know, the worst thing you could possibly do is be indecisive. So as much as, you know, wasn't ideal, Nago did get sniped to a lot of squares, at least Nago didn't go back and forth, right? At least the cause of that wasn't indecision.
Yeah, true. Yeah, what I find really interesting about bingo is there's an element of, you could say, luck to it, right? Because there are sometimes going to be situations, and it didn't happen in this game, where, you know, your opponent is working with incomplete information because Ryomi sniped Nago so many times this game. The Hypebeasts actually work with a little bit of incomplete information. They don't necessarily know where their opponents are, which means there could be a situation where they end up in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, they get sniped to a graffiti because they didn't have enough information on where their opponent was, and that changes the profile of this game. The Hypebeasts just made the right calls at the right time. And there's a little bit of luck or just fortune to that. And there's a little bit of, you know, manifesting that by your own strategy. But we've definitely seen games where, and honestly, game 1 was like it to an extent, right? Where you have a team that is winning so hard that their own decision-making gets a little harder because they can't necessarily predict where their opponent is. It's kind of, I think, how we ended up in that situation at the very end of game 1. The co-op Hikage for Unwantables ended. Still a fair amount of work to do on that, but now Shovel is picking up on RDH, and Ryomi's gone in to start up the route, but Nago had already done a fair chunk of this. So now we're in a situation where the pendulum swings in the favor of Unwantables slightly, and still, of course, very likely that Hypebeasts can win this game. They just need one more point.
Just simply...
Yayo's working on the top half of it. It's 29 to 43. I think Shovel only has to do the bottom half. I'm not sure. It's hard to pick up on exactly what the co-op.
If I remember
like,
correctly,
but-
Nago did basically everything during the main climb, which means that there's this tower and some of the other squares. Ooh.
Oh, Shovel, that's unfortunate. Trying to skip the soul and ends up going the wrong way. That could actually hurt this. That's definitely gonna hurt it. Yeah, that's that might just
Do the funny jet graffiti jump.
away. So close, and yet so far. That one fall is going to cost this graffiti route by the looks of it. Ryomi locks in the ones on the train station. Yayo's just got to finish this couple on this Cops 2 section here.
49 out of 53, 48 out of 53. It's the smalls for Shovel. Yayo
Might still get
and
this actually. Yayo and Ryomi don't know what there is to do. There's two here. There's only one more after this, I think.
Oh, it's going to be close.
It's locked in.
Oh, it
by
goes.
Yayo. That was
Did they get all
insane.
the sprays? What was that last? What was the last spray?
It kind of looked like they didn't. I'm not necessarily sure. Wow, that was a lot. But according to the stats, according to the board, looks like Hypebeasts locked that game 2 in with the RDH graffiti. Yeah, we will have our referees check this one. That was very close. That's game 2 in the bag, though, for Hypebeasts, all things considered. Until I'm told otherwise, it is locked in by Hypebeasts. Alrighty, let me get the board ready for our third game.
Hang on a
in the end-
second. Yeah, I'm looking at Yayo spraying and marking. What is going on here?
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
Classic Yayo behavior. It's could have been 53. You'd have to go through and check so much to confirm that, but I think all players want to continue to the next game.
Yeah. We're gonna move on. We'll check this one in post, but it is time for our third game.
We're gonna have to just give all the teams strikes at this point. They're all getting bullied.
Let's see. Are our players ready?
Yeah, we need auto ref. Come on, Ace. Modders.
All right. Let's have a look at board for game 3. This is a nice balanced board, actually.
Alright, let's have a gander.
So Dogen graffiti and Sewers graffiti for our Sewers rats. Oh, they're not ready.
No, they're fine.
They
with
are
it. Let's
ready.
have a gander.
Okay, so bottom left to top right is an interesting one here. 99 special, highway 0 points, not incredibly fast. Jazz center square, but that is still 4 Benton on the diagonal. And then we have row 3 is interesting to me. 2 Benton and 3 Kogane.
Yeah, I mean it's another one where it's all over the place. I mean that Dogen graffiti is a classic. I'm just excited to see where everyone goes. Really,
Yeah,
Ryomi fumbling the Ben 10 show entrance slightly, which could make the difference.
yeah. So on stream, it looks like Ryomi's ahead, but I think because of stream delay and that movement issue from Ryomi, Shovel might actually have the edge here. The question is, what is the race for? There's Light Wall Ride is the immediate one, but it looks like they're both skipping that because it doesn't really lead into anything else. Entrance Pillar then will likely be the first mark for them. And again, Yayo and Nago head-to-head in Shibuya-cho right at the beginning here for points and tricks, which you can double unlock, by the way. Oh, Nago unlocks Grind. That's going to slow them down, which means Yayo may just unlock points,
Ooh.
locks that in. He should be close to the tricks unlock. No, he's not, and he's not going for it. He's just going straight into Hikage by the looks of things here. Meanwhile, Entrance Pillar does go over to Shovel, so that early movement issue in Garage for Ryomi does hurt him. Unwantables off to a slightly stronger start then, 2-1 at the very, very early stages here. What's next then? Shovel heading deeper into SDPP as Ryomi is into Highway 0.
Yayo just missed the jump, or is that even center floating?
Yeah,
that's
but
going to cost time.
Hands.
They're going to be neck and neck. Oh, who's going to get the faster one? Just goes to Hypebeasts.
That's very unfortunate. Nago just barely missing it as well. And Yayo
leaving the level
is not punished. So Yayo locks in center floating and stays in Hikage. Nago leaving, not wanting to get sniped again. Ryomi still in Highway 0, Shovel in STPP, so a little bit of a split from those two. Highway 0 points is the only thing in Highway 0, and you know, it's not the fastest of the souls here. This is an interesting one. Is this a row 2 angle?
I mean,
But like,
it could
in
be,
STPP,
but yeah, Shovel's very much in a position to block anything that's actively scary. God, I hate this crane so much. Just hurts to look at.
oh, I hate the crane, yeah. Never do cranes.
There we go. Shovel getting points.
This one's a lot closer in the early game, which I think definitely favors Unwantables.
Tricks would be valuable. I mean, Yayo's going to get special, which is going to be beneficial in multiple different scenarios, but it looks like Shovel is rushing pink half pipes. Ryomi maybe getting tape, okay. So not going for anything too wacky, just rushing trick 60.
Yeah, let's see how efficiently he can unlock tricks 60. It does, you know, continue to contribute to that row 2, sorry, but that is denied as Shovel picks up floating pink half pipes. So at the moment, Hypebeasts are not really getting that same board control that they got in the first 2 games. Unwantables being able to pick up a few more squares in the early stages of the game has made a difference and puts them in good standing. So their progress on column 5 has been halted by Hikage's special. Ryomi going for the Ekla unlock. You'd love to see it.
Sewer Rat, light wall ride. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
There is a potential row 1 here with, Sewers and 99th.
It'd be a cheeky
really
one.
big for Unwantables. And, I mean, look at where Hypebeasts are on the board. There is a chance that this just gets locked in uncontested, right?
I think,
It'll have to be clean, but if it's clean, then, never mind, Naga's going into Kibo.
I mean, there's still time, right? Like, it's not there. I mean, there's also the element of light wall ride kind of plays your hand, maybe in a way that's a bit obvious. Maybe they're going for something else.
Maybe they're trying to threaten the bingo and do something else.
Go Sewers.
I mean, it's crazy, right? But there's still the row 3 with Jazz Cube, Sewers Air, Kibo Air, but Yayo being in Sewers, I think, does a lot to really limit Unwantables bingo options here. And so if you're not going for a bingo, Kibo is not bad. There's 3 points here. Yeah,
I'm just trying to figure out, based on what we're looking at right now, what are we going to see going forward? Ryomi is leaving Ben 10, which, leaving, could be doing something in Ben 10, but I assume leaving, once you pass that point, kind of chilling.
Yeah, Ryomi's been doing a lot of trekking across the map this game and not really picking up important points. The Highway 0, 2 points, it's not bad. STPP tricks is not bad, but it all kind of works towards that one row 2 that is not going to manifest, right? So Hypebeasts don't really have a lot of angles for bingos. They're just trying to amass points. Yayo is, though, moving through Sewers once more.
The good old Dell transfer unlock.
I love that. Yeah, that's good stuff. Doesn't have cans for the boost though, so it's going to be slow to pick up. Yeah, fortunately, not really a contest to be had.
Yeah. Just kind of seeing who's doing what. I mean, there we go. Dogan 80% graffiti, my beloved. Let's go.
It's Hypebeasts graffiti time.
That's Air 4.
I haven't been watching Yayo all the time. It doesn't look like he's actually made any progress on Sewers graffiti, and it's just dropping down here. So
yeah.
I guess he has other things he wants to do instead.
No Air 4. Going into
Chemo here.
No.
Yeah, I think he realized his mistake dropping down there, maybe just to get started on the graffiti route in a more organic sense. Yeah, I think maybe Yayo he's certainly prioritizing the squares that he picked up in Sewers, right, and not focusing on the graffiti just because it would slow down his progress towards what he may deem as more important squares. But it does mean he has to start this graffiti route from the beginning. He is Vorten though. He's so clean with it.
Just prioritizing Dogan tricks 20 then? I mean, not a bad thing to grab. I mean, I'm trying to think how I feel about this. Like, Dogan 20, it's a square, right? It's points. And, right now, Unwantables just need more points. Nago is... doing stuff. Grabbing tape, so I guess Air 4 is on the cards, it's on the table. Nago doing a climb. I'm wondering if we're going to see a co-op of some description for Sewers, or if they're just going to go for points. So we're going to see...
Shovel gets Dogan tricks and leaves. Doesn't get baited into the graffiti here. I mean, it had no way... Oh, never mind. I shouldn't have said a word. I wasn't watching, so I didn't know if it had started the graffiti route.
I think it was a case of focusing the important stuff. So the problem
now
is...
Now this is bad.
Yeah. I mean, unless...
Because it's very close to done for Ryomi. Two sprays to go for Ryomi. Oh. Might just get out alive here. This is going to be down to the wire. It's marked. It's locked in.
Turn around.
Right now. I'm going to cry. No cans. No way out. Can't get out. It's so over.
If I had a nickel for every time Dogan graffiti gets blocked, someone jumps into the point of no return, I would have enough nickels to get a soda.
Well,
speaking of soda, Nago's in Sewers.
Yeah, I mean, this went from a very winnable game for Unwantables to a much more difficult game very, very quickly. Because Shovel is now going to be doing nothing in Dogan for all of 2 minutes. Yayo is able to clear out Sewers here, which means Nago's investment of time has been unfortunately wasted. And now the two of them will be head-to-head to what remains. The question is, does Nago think that they can beat Yayo to graffiti? Yayo's been progressing with the graffiti and locked in air. Interesting progression through Sewers from Yayo. Not sure how intentional it was to obfuscate his movements, but
I was going to say the first thing I want to see from Nago is going to 1 point and Shovel Claws going into Dark Side. This is it enough? Between all those squares, it would be. Nago not going for Catwalk to begin with, though. I think that's a big misplay because they need everything right now. And the problem we've got right here is Ryomi's going to get one thing. And
yeah, that's right.
Thing,
yeah. That basically decided it, right? If Ryomi picked up the square.
Oh, yeah. That's the key.
He almost missed it.
Yeah. So that puts it in the position where that Sewers graffiti is it. And Yayo has the advantage to that. I mean, I guess Ryomi's location was kind of a bit secret, you know. Ryomi could have gone anywhere from Dogen, right? But so, you know, maybe the idea was if Ryomi's going to dark side, I can go cube and then, you know, then get bottom point. Unfortunately, that's not how it's played out. Yayo, unless Yayo dies in sewers, kind of has a good advantage to get what would be the final square.
Yeah, I mean, when Ryomi locks in the Dogen Graffiti, Unwantables have to guess where he's going to go, right? There are so many ways that he can go to win that game from that position. They just have to make the right call, and it's very difficult when there are still, you know, 5 squares on the board. Nago could have gone for Catwalk. In this, you know, situation where we have God Vision, yes, that's the right play, you know, that's the optimal thing to do. But you're working with such incomplete information when Ryomi can literally go anywhere. Anywhere on the board and clinch the game. And yeah, with Yayo cleaning up Graffiti, it's just 100-meter room to go here, I believe. That will lock in the game. Unwantables giving a really good showing in this third game. And again, I just feel like that Dogen situation of Shovel having to do another lap may have been the difference. And it's just a mist of margins, right? Like, you can't plan for that. You can't plan for your opponent marks Dogen Graffiti right as you drop in. It's just a very unfortunate moment. But nonetheless, a good showing from Unwantables in Game 3. They definitely made the early game a lot closer, and you can see what they were capable of doing. And in Game 1 as well, they brought this, what was a pretty disadvantageous situation at the beginning of the game, back to a very, very close kind of one square decides it game. So I'm going to say the line, it ended up being a close 3-0. I don't think I've ever said that one before, actually.
I mean, we rarely get the close 3-0s, do it, because we usually best of 5 in the finals. This is kind of a new thing we're doing, given that we've got less matches this week.
Oh, 8 confirmed. First 3-0 ever. Cool.
3-0, but it was
additional
close.
best of 5s.
And there we go, just additional mopping up from Ryomi.
Yeah, it's having a moment in 100-meter room. It wouldn't be Bingo without one of these.
This is how Nago can still win.
Can you imagine? Yayo just falls out of 100-meter room 10 times.
For Yayo's sake, I hope that doesn't happen, because just imagine what Yayo would have to take from Ryomi in that scenario. There we go.
There it is.
The mark
locked in.
Has been locked in.
Suez Graffiti to clinch the game and the match for Hypebeasts. How appropriate. Yes, Suez Graffiti locked in,
there we
and
go.
that is the dub. 3-0. The Hypebeasts move on to the Season 6 final. Good stuff. I wonder if we'll get our players in.
God. I'm hoping we will get well, I hope we'll get everyone, but I hope Nago will come and have a chat, but it is late over there, so it may just be a Ryomi Yayo.
Approaching 1 a.m. in Europe.
Yes, it sure is.
We have the Hypebeasts, and we have Shovel, and we have Nago. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, let's start with our winners, Hypebeasts. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, may have come under some fire, some criticism for my boards. But Suez Graffiti to clinch the series, very appropriate for Hypebeasts. Just while it's fresh in our memory, Yayo, I kind of want to pick your brain about the Suez situation.
Oh God.
You ended up basically climbing Suez twice.
Yes.
So what was your thought process like going through Suez? Was there an attempt to kind of prioritize certain squares? Were you trying to hide some information from your opponents? Because you ended up cleaning house. And it made the decision-making for Unwantables more difficult regarding Suez, which is actually a really important area for them to win this game.
Yeah. No, really, I was just reacting to Nago being on Kibo. That was my original plan. And that's like I was already at the bottom of the series when I realized. So I had to climb again for the fans.
For the fans.
For the fans.
For the
We'd love to
true
see it.
Stewer homies.
That's
Gotta
right.
climb the sewers for content.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here again.
So Unwantables, 3 very different games, I feel, for you. In the first 2 games, it was a bit of a difficult early game, but game 1, you brought it back really, really close. And then game 3, your other game was really, really solid. You were very much in contention for a very long time. What's the early game plan for you against a team that you know can be pretty strong? You went head to head a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Don't be pussies.
Yeah, in the word of Ryomi, don't be pussies. Fortunately,
I respect it. I respect it.
But, you know.
Just make it happen. You gotta make it
Third game,
happen.
Ryomi, I got your ass. Fucking
Better to lose than better to die fighting, right? Than
Congratulations, we still won the game.
Yeah, thanks. I really needed that.
Why did I miss that? I think I got stared in garage. I lost a couple seconds to that,
yeah.
but I made up for it, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Ryomi, I was a little critical of your movements in Game 3, just because you kind of ran around picking up some squares that weren't particularly high priority. Was the row 2 an angle for you? Was that a plan?
The third game?
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to go for the row 2.
Yeah, because a lot of your early game was kind of focused around that, and then kind of good read by Shovel to just go and take the quick default and deny that, and then kind of meant you were unable to do too terribly much. Oh my god, yeah, you're playing Fusion Frenzy. Sorry, I got completely distracted. This game was my childhood.
Yeah,
Fusion Frenzy is the shit, man. Fusion Frenzy is the
This game's so
shit,
good.
man.
yeah, this
Can we play
minigame
Fusion Frenzy Bingo?
specifically.
Yo, is this Doji's
Dude, I so desperately wish, because I've been playing Mario Party with friends recently, I wish Fusion Frenzy had like that play in like a non-shit way.
Fuse? Fuse, are you watching? Can we get Fusion Frenzy?
needs to make actual functioning netcode. That sounds awful.
Can we not like parsec this game or what?
Yeah, but I don't want to play parsec.
It doesn't matter if you don't know the lingo. It's always a good time on Fusion Frenzy Bingo.
All right, well, any analysis that I could have possibly had for this series has gone out the window now because Fusion Frenzy. Thank you all for joining us for Bingo. Thank you all for playing Bingo. We will have another match on Sunday, the second semi-final between Cyberpunk 2066 and the other team. Rollerblades, that's the one.
The other team.
Third team. Classic.
And that will also be a best of 5. Any closing thoughts from our players?
What was happening to Nago in the second game?
I don't remember any of the. I don't remember any of the games. I don't even. What?
You didn't mark a square for like 10
spray
minutes.
and a Kage spray. Is weird routing.
I think the best way to describe Game 2 was, you know what happened to JFK? You know, kind of that.
Jesus.
Yeah, I partially
Another sniped to like 5 or 6 squares in a row. It was
By me.
Did I don't even remember. I genuinely don't remember. I'm so tired, man. I don't remember any of these things.
The start of Game 2 was, it kind of diverged from Shibuya Terminal, and just the small gap turned out to be a huge difference in the end, but...
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind
of...
Ryomi got out ahead ever so slightly, and then you just kind of kept following Ryomi wherever he was going, and it's just a difficult situation, you know, when you don't have perfect information on where your opponent's going, right? You're making what you think is the best play and just kind of hoping that your opponent isn't going there as well. And it just... Sometimes that leads to you getting sniped 5 or 6 times in a row.
It's just bingo, you know, it's just bingo, it's all good. Like, this is how
as long as everyone had a good time.
I had a really good time. I'm sleepy, but I had a good time for sure.
I had a good season with my favorite teammate, Nago.
Oh, I like you too.
The best bingo teammate you've ever had.
It was very, very nice to team with you, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and thank you.
Notice how Nago didn't say that you were their favorite. Crazy.
I'm sorry, but that is reserved to Yamsa forever. So I'm sorry.
It's so over.
Take it back.
I mean, I can see
you've had one bingo
Guys, we have to
teammate.
end the
I'm
stream.
your favorite by default.
We have to end the stream, guys. But thank you, Shovel, for joining us for JSRF Bingo. One of our new players this season. You've been super active, super involved, and it's been a pleasure to have you. And we hope you come back.
I sure fucking will. And this time
we'll see you in the final.
Okay.
And we'll see all of you on Sunday for more bingo.
Sunday.
We're ending the stream. End the stream.
Sunday.
Alright, Sunday.